Good afternoon, friends. Once again, I, on behalf of Nagpur branch, extremely sorry for the inconvenience caused today. The session got disconnected abruptly due to the technical error. We have resumed it again. Probably GoToWebinar wants to teach us that this factor of technical management should also be the topic of today's webinar. And I am sure our speakers will definitely touch upon this aspect as well. To begin and continue our last session, our next speaker, Huzeifa Unwala, is a chartered accountant in practice with over 25 years of experience. He has served large and mid-sized clients and family-owned businesses in India as well as Middle East. He specializes in internal audit, risk consulting, fraud investigation, ICOFR, IFC implementation, and SSAE 18 attestation. He is the founder and senior partner of JHS and Associates LLP, a full-service firm headquartered in Mumbai and having presence across 7 cities in India. I request Huzeifa ji to please address the gathering. Over to you, Huzeifa sir.
Thank you, Akshay. A very warm welcome to all the participants. Technology has got a funny way of giving us breaks in life. Although our aspiration is always to be online, real time, and always on the go with the use of technology, but it gives us welcome breaks. So it was a nice tea break in the virtual seminar that we had. I enjoyed the tea break, and let me start by thanking the organizers of this event, Kirit bhai and the entire Nagpur branch. What a wonderful seminar they are hosting today on a Sunday. In terms of reskilling and giving opportunities to chartered accountants to reskill themselves, to reimagine their practice and look at digital transformation. Just before I get into my slides, a quick sound and view check with Akshay that I think the screen is visible to all and I'm audible to everybody.
Audible and screen is visible.
Excellent, excellent. So welcome everybody. The way I have designed the slides are that I'm carrying very less slides, only 8 or 10 slides, not more. But there are 3 sections to the topics that I'm going to discuss today with you. First is to set the context that why we have to digitize our practices and we don't have a choice anymore. The time to sit back and think whether we want to digitize or no, we have lost that time. Especially because of the advent of COVID and the crisis that COVID has created in the form of physical distancing norms. So we don't have an option now, but to start reimagining our practice, start creating the building blocks and start our journey and create a value vision statement for the entire digital transformation for chartered accountants. Whether we like it or no, the world is changing. So let's look at a few critical components where technology is impacting the accounting profession. Also, let's look at the journey which we need to take in terms of the significant components we need to look at while we are repositioning our practice and digitally transforming. What are the tools? What are the various software options available? Of course, I will not get into too much technical details. We have very exciting 2 young speakers who are going to talk about software, who are going to talk about a lot of technology components. So I'll keep my presentation focused on the journey and the process that an accounting firm can take. And towards the end, I will also speak about the case studies, one practical case study which I have personally implemented at JHS, as well as one industry case study on TCS. So this is the talking point for me today. I'll go to the next slide, which is on digital revolution. So you will notice on this slide that data is all around us. We live in the digital age, in the social revolution age, where information is virtually raining and pouring on us from the clouds. And we don't have any place to hide. We just have to protect ourselves, secure ourselves, and make ourselves competent enough so that we can be part of the digital revolution, we can be part of the journey. Clients are throwing at us structured data, unstructured data. scanned images, databases, data warehouse, big data, and now it is left to us as accountants and as auditors and as tax filers what meaning and what value we are going to derive from that information so that we can succeed in our practice. I think the choice is no more there with us. We have to take the digital journey. So let's look at one practical example of what a large corporate would do with so much of data and what the auditor is supposed to do. I'll go to the next slide, which is on data mining, which is the key competency in the digital world. The art of converting raw data into actionable insights is what is expected from the accountant and the auditor. Ability to spot new trends or continuity of existing or old trends is another significant competency which is required in the digital world. So let's look at this practical example. Take example of Walmart, which is a global company operating in so many countries and regions. Now, typically, they would be dealing with volumes and volumes of data. Data which comprises of customer profiles, data that comprise of vendors, of employees, of behavioral patterns. So what do they do? What do they do with so much of data? First and foremost is that they use this for sales forecasting. Now, artificial intelligence, machine learning is all about creating reliable output of information. And sales forecasting is one critical component, including financial forecasting, where machine learning and artificial intelligence have got early success. And these are published case studies from large corporates, accounting firms globally, that almost 99% of forecasting can be done accurately using machine learning and artificial intelligence techniques. We as chartered accountants, while we create business plans, we create financial forecasts, while we do valuations, etc., we deal with a lot of data that is internal as well as external. So we should learn the art of mining the data, bringing it together in a consolidated manner so that the forecasting can be done in a more reliable manner. So what Walmart does is that it has based the entire AI and machine learning systems at play as far as their customers are concerned, and they are looking at customer buying patterns, when they will buy, what are the time at which the customers generally buy, what are the buying patterns, what is the historical purchase pattern for customers by looking at their age profiles and buying psychology. Buying psychology is something very important which they have discovered in their data mining techniques. Like, say for example, if there is an announcement of a health pandemic, or there is an announcement of a hurricane or a hailstorm, there is a lot of panic buying that happens in their stores. Now, when the panic buying is happening, they should be ready with behavioral patterns of customers to know which are the type of food items that the customers are going to purchase. So they move on to do even segmentation of their customer profiles on the basis of age, gender, income, and occupation. And through real-time monitoring processes such as basket analysis, purchase habits, to predict what the customers are going to buy in a business as usual scenario, in a panic buying scenario. So through data mining and artificial intelligence, they have discovered that while the customers are picking up instant buying, panic buying habits, they look at instant food items as the first choice, preferred choice to buy. Now, customer has made the choice to buy. Corporate has already made the sale available to the customer. Can the auditor be left behind? Is the choice made by the corporate client, is it profitable? Is it not profitable? Does it have enough margins? Has the inventory expired? Is it obsolete? Etc. The questions which the auditor is definitely going to ask. And if the auditor is in a position to continuously audit these trends and behavioral patterns by using modern day tools and techniques, he is going to be on the dot and real time informing the management as to what went wrong in the decision of the corporate, as well as what are the mistakes or errors that can be avoided, and what are the risk anomalies that are coming out. And that also become part of the entire segmentation of data, which is known as now the audit insights from the auditors. So what managements are increasingly looking at from chartered accountants is not a post-mortem audit report, but more of a proactive and dynamic auditing insight. This is an example of how sales forecasting is used by Walmart very effectively globally, and I'm sure a lot of other companies in India also are doing forecasting. Like there are corporates in India who are digitizing the entire process of identifying erroneous journal entries which accountants are making. There are hundreds and thousands of journal entries that accountants are passing. Now, through use of machine learning and artificial intelligence, corporates are trying to identify unusual patterns in accounting, unusual patterns in reconciliations and confirmations, and then they are being investigated further, whether they are false positive or they are uh, uh, truly creating some kind of a risk profile for the organization. This slide talks about the reversal of the traditional audit thought processes. We have been taught with certain basic tenets, and with the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, the digital and social revolution, as well as the COVID health pandemic, what has happened is that the traditional thoughts of how an auditor should approach his work and what should be his output has turned on its head completely. We have to be now prepared for 100% or full audit exercise, as no more we will have the liberty to do sampling of data. Organizations and clients would be dumping all kinds of data on the auditor's head and in his cloud or in his laptop, so that the auditor can sift through and identify anomalies from the data patterns and give that feedback to the management. Audit is not designed to unearth frauds. We always call ourselves as watchdogs. However, no more, since all the data is going to be provided with latest tools available for auditing, latest techniques available. More and more we are going to be regarded as a bloodhound. Auditors take time to audit. This looks strange in today's day and age, where continuous monitoring and auditing has already set in. Regulators are moving towards a real-time data model, risk-based supervision. Uh, can the auditors be left behind? I don't think so. If regulators are finding out patterns of information and non-compliances before the auditors do at the year end, it becomes a reputational risk for the audit firm as well as for the signing partner. Evidence, not representation and assumption from the client side, is going to be the order of the day. Maybe the word true and fair could be replaced with accurate and correct as the expectation of the client as we go ahead in our digital revolution journey. Citing of original records, which is very much a key aspect of audits, completely in physical distancing norms that we are going to observe now and in future. This seems to have gone completely out of the window for auditors. So we need to look at reliance on controls that ensure information integrity, like encryption, access controls. Also look at remote inspection of original documents. I'm sure that our auditing standards are going to be revised and amended for remote inspection of original documents. So truly, I believe with the advent of digital revolution, auditors reverse migration has already started, and we be prepared for facing the information onslaught. Now, what do we do in this scenario? How do we cope up? What are the tools, techniques, and what is the journey we need to take? I will quickly dwell upon that. So a chartered accountant has to create a roadmap for the digital transformation of the practice. The roadmap comprises of three key pillars. First is the client, second is the people working with him in the organization, and third is the service delivery and the projects that the chartered accountant executes. Now, keeping all these three pillars in mind, the chartered accountant can digitally transform his entire practice. From a client perspective, there has to be a website which has to be an updated one. Only putting in tax calculators, I think, will not cut the ice with the clients. We need to put more intelligent data on our websites, which are current, updated, and are engaging with the clients, so that you are able to generate business leads from the website. Need to use social media platforms intelligently by giving knowledge bites and showing the depth of capabilities of the organization. using as many social media platforms as possible to broaden and deepen the impact on the marketplace, using a centralized customer relationship management tool. We can use Zoho, we can use several other platforms. There are certain platforms made available on the website of the CA Institute also for SME practitioners. We can try and centralize the client data management. We also have tools like WhatsApp Business now, which can be integrated for intimating your clients in a very organized manner. So there are ample of tools and techniques available for you to connect with your clients from a technology and software perspective. And these are the three main areas where you should focus while you're connecting with your clients from a technology standpoint. From a people standpoint, you should have your vision statement for digital transformation of your practice on the based on the efficiency and productivity improvement of your team members. We are facing tough times. All clients are reducing their costs, and audit fees are also likely to be cut. In such a scenario, it is only important that we improve our efficiencies. So in your digital journey, if you have a vision statement which is focused on improving employee efficiency, productivity on a day-to-day basis, there are a number of resource planning tools available. There are softwares available to monitor the efficiency of team members. There are desktop tools like Brohans, which gives minute by minute time sheeting facility, and several other facility to see the efficiency. Maybe here we can learn a trick or two from the outsourcing industry, the BPO industry, who use remote monitoring tools to check the efficiency of their team members. The efficiency tools are so deep that they are able to also monitor the number of time spent by the team members on Excel spreadsheets, on Word documents, and so forth. Do look at creating an end-to-end human resource management system. This is very, very good as a practice management tool, because there is a lot of attrition that we see, and generally article trainees exit after 3 years of their training. So end-to-end HRM tool comes in very handy in retaining all the assets and knowledge, the digital assets and knowledge that you create in your journey. Next is on the project side. We need to look at how do we onboard our clients, what are the standard letter of engagements. They can be automated through software tools. We can define workflows of engaging and executing assignments, file management documentation systems using on-premise cloud systems, using cloud server file management systems. Now there are a number of options available for using the cloud facility that are available in a cost competitive manner on a per user basis. The key criteria here for managing a cloud server system is the size of the data that you're going to host on the cloud. The benefits of hosting data on the cloud is that backup becomes seamless. You don't have to struggle with keeping your servers on in the office. You don't have to struggle by backing up your data separately. On cloud arrangements are very seamless. However, they are little costly. Here you have to ensure that you get into a good business partnership arrangement. Although there is a lot of guidance given by ICAI in terms of work from home solutions, which my colleagues will cover in the next sessions, I truly believe that you need to have a reliable business partner, a software as well as a networking and hardware partner in your digital journey, because there are a lot of technicalities on security, on risk-based authentication, etc., which your clients are going to ask you, and we may not have readily available answers for that. You're going to sign a lot of email indemnities with the clients. You're going to sign a lot of NDAs, confidentiality agreements with unlimited liabilities. So the risk exposure is very, very high. If you don't have a reliable partner for your digital transformation, it's quite likely that you're going to make a mistake in your journey. Also, engaging with your young Turks in the practice with the keep reskilling them on the digital transformation so that their acceptance level is very high is very, very critical in your transformation journey. You have several email solutions, video conferencing, remote access management, such as virtual private networks, etc., that are available in the marketplace. You can evaluate on the basis of your needs, the size of your data, the frequency with which you need to access, the speed and reliability of these solutions. My personal experience is that when you are looking at email solutions, please don't go for email solution providers that are not in the top 3 bracket. Emails are the most vulnerable hotspots for cyber attacks. And what happens is that a lot of data coming on the email gets tracked through cyber attacks. So emails become very, very vulnerable when clients send you a lot of sensitive information in your mailbox. Better to go with either Microsoft or Google or a global player which gives you an integrated email solution along with video conferencing facilities, like Microsoft has got Teams, Google has got Google Meets, Hangouts, etc. And they give you certain space also where you can save on the cloud along with the email box. So this was from a file management, data management perspective. From a data analytics and a RPA perspective, you definitely need to have a CAT, computer assisted audit technique software in your toolbox. That is, either an IDEA, Caseware, or a ACL, or then you can also have a customized solution made for you by taking help of a software analyst, a data analyst. And client opportunities come just on the fly, you don't know. So recently, a few months back, I was challenged with assignment from a NBFC where they had almost 10 to 12 crore records, and we had to do a back testing of the records so that the statutory auditors could sign on the expected credit loss model. Now, to analyze and validate and backtest 10 to 12 crore records was a huge task. So for executing that, a customized SQL server was built, and the records were migrated to the SQL server, and then the data analysts worked with the chartered accountants in my team to create data structures so that the data could be analyzed in a seamless, in a quick, responsive manner, because Excel spreadsheets will just crash. They will not be reliable at some point in time. However, you may be comfortable with Excel spreadsheets. So you will have to create some kind of a database model if you're going to deal with very large volumes of data. Let me move on to a few case studies now. This is a case study for a small finance bank which recently got mandated to start its operations 3 months back. In the month of January, we started the traditional concurrent audit with this bank in Bombay with a 5 to 6 member team on-site model. And within 2 months, the lockdown started. And when the lockdown started, this being a new bank, they had to submit a lot of regulatory returns and a lot of information to the regulators for the first board meeting, etc. We had no choice. We were pushed to the wall to go digital. So what we decided was that we created 5 to 6 laptops for the team members, on-site team members. Those laptops were configured for remote access, for security, etc. And they were hardened and they were supplied to the team members in their houses, and the team members started the concurrent audit process on a T+1 basis, where the bank gave access to the team members on the basis of data information requests being rolled out by the team members on a day-to-day basis. So there was 2 types of access that were provided by the bank to us. The first was giving us data dumps of production and operations data. We do audit for treasury operations, we do audit for banking, general banking operations, for KYC, AML operations, and for clearing operations. So there is huge chunk of data that gets created, and this data from the bank end is given in the form of a data dump through a file transfer protocol to our team members, who are then looking at this data. The second level of access is a secured access. The bank has given us a middleware solution called Citrix, and from Citrix, the team member are doing a risk-based authentication access to the production systems, live systems of the bank, where comparison of the data dumps is done with the production systems of the bank by the team members, and they're given due rights. So the rights are completely restricted. They cannot modify any data. They can only have few of that production system, and then create their audit working papers and create the audit queries and then discuss the queries. And this audit is running smoothly since last two and a half months since the lockdown began. The pace, the frequency is T plus 1 day basis. So it's only a lag of 1 day. So it's truly concurrent by that call of the regulators. And there is a weekly query sheet that is released to the management, and the reports are being supplied on a monthly basis. These are on-time reports that are being supplied. The client is happy, the team is happy working from home. There is more efficiency that we have got into the process, because in a city like Bombay, with the traffic snails, etc., it becomes impossible for team members to work for 8 to 9 hours in a dedicated manner. But having implemented work from home for a concurrent audit for a bank, now we are extremely confident that we can replicate this with all our other corporate clients that we are dealing with in terms of various types of services that we are offering. So this was one practical case study. Now, just to share with you the insights that I learned from Tata Consulting Services, some amazing insights, and where TCS, which is the doyen of the IT industry in India and globally, has managed to transition 4.5 lakh work pool into the cloud system that they have created for executing their client projects. The case study on TCS comes out of a public disclosure document of the CEO, Mr. Gopinath of TCS, available on their website, where he's mentioned that 23,000 live projects are being executed by 4 lakh plus employees working from home. And the transition was done within 10 to 12 days, immediately when the lockdown was announced. In this difficult situation, they have won 500 awards from their clients. While the COVID phenomena started, in this difficult times, they have won 500 awards from their clients. There is zero drop in quality of service or timelines in the service on any given project of TCS. From a capability perspective, they have created a secure borderless workspace, enabling remote access and work from home policies for their team members. Location independent agile model of service delivery. As our senior vice president nearby was mentioning, that it's not work from home but from work from anywhere. So now we are moving towards that situation, and TCS has already developed a agile working model, digitized delivery governance model, and machine first delivery model, where the human beings working and associated on the live client projects have got machine bots working with them, and they can take judgment calls. Now you'll quickly realize through this case studies that auditors have started competing with machines. Typically the judgment part, the value of information rests with the auditor to take a judgment. And as I mentioned earlier, the judgment now is going to be accurate and correct. It's not an estimate, it's not an assumption, it's not a representation, it is accurate and correct. So in this situation, we may have to learn to work along with machines and audit bots, and reach our judgment at the final stage. From a process perspective, 90% or more employees are working from home. There is a cloud-based project monitoring system and tracking system from an efficiency, from a R2R basis that TCS has implemented. There is a better quality of life, and TCS has honored 30,000 campus offers in March, unlike the other companies. So this is a case study of how TCS has digitally transformed itself and looked at COVID-19 as a crisis, not as a crisis, but more as an opportunity, as a business opportunity. And I'm sure there is a lot to learn from this case study for us as practicing chartered accountants. Let me look at a few best practices and walk you through them in terms of work from home. I have already, I think, exhausted my time, and these are the last few slides. So first, best practice in today's COVID era is to take care of ourselves physically and emotionally. Second is to set up our home office. A home office means an office with a door, proper table, printer, and scanner, with a do not disturb board shared with all our family members, because you have usual home distractions, and then this can eat into your work time. So we will have to change our behavioral pattern at home by educating and making aware our home members, our family members, on the do not disturb guidelines. These are essentially important for audit committees, board meetings, where in digital meetings now, which are being recorded, and there is a roll call and there is a confirmation that you are alone in the room, because there is a lot of confidential data on the screens and a lot of confidential data which you are discussing with the board and the audit committees. So do not disturb, and ring fencing your home office is very important. Dress suitably for the day, very important to increase your confidence. Plan your work along with breaks. Learn to use video conferencing systems like Zoom, GoTo Meeting, Teams. There are a number of other options. I'm sure the young colleagues are going to explain in the next sessions. And learn to convert meetings into action items. This is something which we must all learn, that each and every meeting there should be a key takeaway, and we should be able to convert the conversation into an actionable insight, either in terms of closing the business or delighting the customer or giving the customer a knowledge insight. Whatever may be the agenda of the meeting, it's very important to learn the art of converting meetings into action and items that can impact us, our professional lives, and our business. This is the last slide. What I would like to conclude is that life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's learning to dance in the rain. We must learn to enjoy the rain by getting wet in the rain and in the storm. And the time is here and right now for us to digitally transform our practice so that we don't become irrelevant, we are meaningful, and we meet all the expectations of our clients. And as we have always been in the forefront of the digital revolution, we can once again make a big impact as a practicing chartered accountant. So with these words, I conclude my session. I thank you all for the patient hearing, and I would like to just mention a brief disclosure and disclaimer that the views that I've expressed in the session today are my personal views, and they are researched from several websites, and I've given those sources on the slides as well. And this do not in any way constitute any advice from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Huzeifa ji, for your delightful words. Definitely, these points are very, very critical when we are working from home, and it will definitely add to our wisdom. Our next speaker, CA Adarsh Madrecha ji. CA Adarsh Madrecha currently leads supply chain transformation projects at EY. Before this, he used to lead SAP system audit at EY in Mumbai. His expertise includes system audit, Excel, data analytics. He has recently started a startup which specializes in practice management for CAs. He has conducted more than 45 seminars till date on topics ranging from Excel, office management, system controls, cyber security, Power Query. He started taking seminars at a young age of 20. He is also a faculty for advanced ITT teaching Excel and ERP. Adarsh loves to write and share his thoughts on his blog adarsh.madrecha.com. So friends, please put your hands together and welcome Adarsh ji. Over to you, Adarsh ji.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank the entire Nagpur committee chairman and the convener for today. Thanks very much for this opportunity, and let's dive into it. So I'll just get a confirmation. My screen is visible and my voice is clear, right?
Yeah, screen is visible.
And the voice is clear.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you. So before we start, a small disclaimer: all logos that we are going to see are the respective copyright of the respective companies, and any recommendations or suggestions that I share today is of my personal opinion. Consider this as editor's choice and use your professional skepticism while choosing any of these softwares. And the icons that you see are courtesy of these websites. So let's begin. So in the today's small session, I will be covering three aspects of working remotely. So the team members can work wherever they want. So first we'll be covering the access part, second how to collaborate, and the third one, a beautiful initiative by institute, will discuss about the maturity model. So let's begin. So first and foremost, when we talk about remote working, we need to provide access to our team members. And this is the section all that talks about providing remote access. I have focused only on working the remote access of files, because when we talk about information, which task is assigned, all those part will be taken up in the next session by CA Ankit. So let's focus on files. So when we talk about files, we have two types of files. One is a set of working files where all our team members will be working on these files, and then once those are reviewed, finalized, and shared with the client, those I call it as a final files. If I want to give an example, when the client comes to us and shares his purchase register, sales register, and other data, so those are all the working files. And then after collating all these data, we will be creating some final tax amount to be payable and all those workings, and those becomes our final files, the final working file, and then we ask the client to make the payment for the GST. So there has to be a clear segregation between the working files and the final files, and it is very critical that these two are dealt with separately. We don't want any team members to after 6 months edit the original final files, and then we are landed it up in a situation where we don't have any idea as to what was the final figure or how was that final figure arrived. So let's first talk about working files and what is the best solution that we have here. So when we talk about working files, we have two options. First is the public collaboration storage. And I guess most of us will be aware about these options. So here we have like good examples like OneDrive, Google Drive, and beautiful example like Dropbox, Box, and so on. So these provide a good collaboration approach where all, all that we need to do is upload all our files to any of these services and share these folders or files with our team members. It's very easy to get started, and that's all. Just one click and it just works. The beauty of OneDrive and few of these are that they also allow concurrent editing of the files with other team members. So if I have open one file, say Excel file or Word file, at the same time other team members can also edit the same file. So creating the content or working on the same files become very easy to use. Let's talk about what are the benefits of using this public collaboration storage. First, or benefits as well as some pitfalls. So first one is that your files and folders needs to be moved from your existing storage space to a new system. So if you have like a server or office computer where currently all your files are kept, then they need to be moved from your server to these say OneDrive or Google Drive. So it's a big exercise, and sometimes it needs a careful planning and ensure that all the files and folders are moved uh, to the new location or to the new service. Second is that you have benefits as well as some disbenefits, is that you can, if you are the only person who are working on these files, then you can sync those files offline and then work on it. But say suppose if your team member is also working on the file concurrently, then you need to be online, otherwise you would get some conflict errors. So here we have an option of online offline access, but that comes with a caveat that other team members should not be editing that same file at the same time. Another good benefit of public collaboration storage is automatic, we get features of version control and access management. So when we talk about client confidentiality and those aspects, then what we can do is for each client engagement, we could create separate folders and then provide team members access to those folders or files. If you have a small practice and this practice is divided between say income tax, GST, and say internal audits, then you could create those respective folders and share the access not at engagement level but at this service line level, and where you could say that these set of 5 team members will have access to all the GST documents of the client, another set of 3 people will have access to all the internal audit documents of all the clients. So you have a quite flexibility on how you want to manage the access controls. Talking about version control, whenever we make any edits to these files, automatically a version control is kept by these collaboration tools, public collaboration storages. So we can just revert back to the earlier state without much effort. And this is automatically done, whether we are using their browser or we are using their offline tools. Another option from to these public storage is that we have self-hosted storage. So examples could be own cloud, which is very popular, and Nextcloud, cozy.io. And all of these three services are open source or free, and so you don't need to pay them. Of course, these are self-hosted storage, so you need to host them on your server. Let's see what are the benefits or pitfalls of these. No need to move your files. So all that you need to do is on your server where you're currently all your files are stored, you just need to install one of these options, say own cloud or Nextcloud, and then it will automatically create a self-hosted cloud solution. So no needs to move your files. Your files are always stored where they were earlier, and going forward also it will remain on the same location. So that's the very good benefit. And when after the this pandemic is over, if you don't want your team members to work remotely, then this could be a very good option, so that whenever they come back to the office and start working from the office, you can just simply uninstall these options, and then team members can just simply use the files and folders as they used to be earlier. Another is that you can control the time, since it is hosted on your server. If you turn off your server, automatically the team members get don't get the access to these files. So you have a time control access. So if you want your team members to access these files only, say from morning 9 o'clock to evening 7 o'clock, you turn on your server at 9, shut off the server at 7. So you get time access. And whenever the team members are working from the office premises, no internet access is required. So that could be a good a point for a few offices where predominantly the work is carried out sitting in the office. So these are the two options. One is self-hosted storage and another is the public collaboration storage. So this all we discussed was about file storage. Another one which Huzeifa ji has already touched upon a little bit is through VPN. So where you can set up a VPN server in your office and then ask the team members to connect through the VPN. For smaller firms, it could be a little bit of hassle to configure, purchase, and set up this VPN. But for a medium to large size firm, this could be a good option, where it will also allow you to share not only files but also your softwares. So that was all about working with working files, or the files which constantly change and we need to collaborate on. Now let's talk about the final files, or the how we can archive those files. So here we have option of practice management software, and this topic will be covered in the just coming session by C. Ankit Raipuria. So I will leave that to the next speaker. So practice management software can help you with uploading those files onto your cloud, and then those could be archived. And whenever those are required, they can be downloaded by anyone. And many of the practice management solution also provides access to the client. So clients can also log in to their portal, and they can optionally download all these files if you have, of course, allowed client login and client visible. The file is made client visible. So that could be a good value addition to the clients. And this also increases the perceived value of your service. Now let's talk about collaboration. So whenever all the team members are sitting in a office premises, if they just want to ask some doubt, they can just walk up to that cabin, cubicle, or the chair and just ask how is this calculation to be done, or just freely ask any doubts. So this becomes a bit of a challenge when we are working remotely, because we just cannot walk up. If we constantly call up our team members, it could hamper our own productivity as well as our team members' productivity, because it will become a constant distraction. And this is where collaboration tools can help. When we talk about collaboration tools in this section, I'll be covering collaboration between the team members as well as with the clients. So let's start with the team member collaboration. So currently, what we have seen in, at least in India, is that most of our team communication relies on direct messaging, where we will have some WhatsApp group or WhatsApp broadcast or direct one-to-one WhatsApp chat. So while this would be easy to manage, but when we talk about entire team communication as a whole from a firm perspective, WhatsApp could be a limiting factor and could also be a constant distraction, because in the WhatsApp they will not be just office messages but many other messages from your family, your friends. So it could be a very much distractive environment to work with, and that's why we have a dedicated team communication tools like Discord, Microsoft Teams, and Slack. And they have a very good free version as well, which has some limitations, but from small to medium sized firms, you would not find any a roadblock in implementing them. And the best part of these team communication is that they allow you to create channels, and so that you can restrict the communication to a particular topic and other team members are not disturbed by those topics. So I have one of the screenshots here. So here in this scenario, you can see on the left hand side, I hope my laser pointer is visible. So I have created these channel groups. This is just one of the screenshot to showcase the capabilities. I like the dark uh, color. That's why the screenshot is in dark color, but you can of course view it in your lighter shade. So here you can click on these, create all these channels, and you can add those team members who are working on those channels. So you're not disturbing other team members who don't need to be part of this conversation. And you have beautiful search capabilities similar to Outlook, where you could say that show me all the messages from a team member received within last 30 days or 5 days or just today, and where are the which are the conversation where I am mentioned directly at the rate through that at the rate. So very good tools are available, and this would be so the screenshot is currently of Discord, which I'm using it, and I've also used Microsoft Teams and Slack, and all three are very good options. So when we talk about team communication, you have to choose a tool which provides you at least three basic functionalities. One is screen sharing, where many a times we want our team members to quickly have a look at our Excel calculation or maybe the document that we are working on or finalizing the presentation that we are sending to the client. So screen sharing is a very essential tool or essential feature that we want, so that we can quickly share our screen, take an opinion, and that's all. It could be a very fast conversation. Another one is calling functionality, so that if I am discussing with my team member and say suppose I require another point of view or another feedback, I can quickly add another team member to this conversation by just one click, and they can join and do the calling straightforward from this same tool itself, where that new team member who is joining the call can even see my screen. And another one we have already discussed is the channels feature, where we can restrict our chatting to the specific team members, and we can go on creating as many channels as we want and deleting those channels if not required. The most important factor to consider is that we have to improve our productivity. Since we are working remotely, our productivity may get hampered, and hence we have these team communication tools. Now let's talk about collaboration with the client. As far as our traditional work like income tax return filing, GST return filing, or even for that matter, to a some extent, assurance, internal audit, those are concerned, many times we receive emails from the client, and specifically small to medium-sized firms have a common email ID, where the clients will just blindly forward all the emails that he received from the department. The client would not even, in my experience, the client would not even read whether that email is just a reminder to pay advance tax or something like that, and he will blindly forward all those emails to the office email ID. And it is expected from a CA firm that we will be having a look at it, identify whether some action has to be taken or not, and then accordingly act if some action is to be taken or not. So in this case, having a common email ID and just using our email tools like Gmail, Outlook, or any other provider would not be sufficient, because you will have a lot of influx of these emails, and we need a way to organize them. We need to have a way where we can specify which team member is working for this particular client email, whether it has been resolved or not, is there some action which is being taken, and what duration we are going to reply to this client. And no, none of these clients emails are missed out, and hence we have ticketing tools or client communication management tools. So these are the ones I have seen and used. And uh, most of the features which we require on a day-to-day basis are available in the free version of Freshdesk. So I've just highlighted that. Of course, you should check out other options. Zoho Desk is a very popular one, and HubSpot also has a very generous free plan. And while I say that all these tools are free, I would make myself very clear that I'm not promoting using of free tools. I'm just promoting that if you want to try it out, a free version is available. And as and when if additional features are required, you should definitely check out their paid plan. And this could really improve the productivity of the team members as well as the client experience. So one of the screenshots that I have here, so uh, just if I want to showcase how it looks like. So if the client has sent a email, so it looks like this. And then if any team member who replies, so the client, from a client perspective, all the emails that he would be receiving will be from your email ID itself, the common firm's email ID itself. And this is the screen how the team members will see the software, or how the team members will reply to the clients. So here you can see Lena, who is a client, he has sent an email, and then Sarah has replied to Lena, and then Lena has again sent a reply. And here you can see on the top, customer has responded, and say suppose this, you create account for each and every team member, and then you would see that Sarah has replied, Pooja has replied to this client. And you can even assign who is the team member who is currently interacting with this particular email. So you can see I can assign, I can set up the priority, and all these things I can do. I can create some custom fields and track that. So this could be a very good productivity boost, and good experience to the clients when we implement a ticketing tool. So this is one thing that you could definitely check out. At the last, I'm just so this is just my conclusion slide. So here a big shootout to the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI. They have come up with this Digital Competency Maturity Model version 2, and this is a very good document which is hosted. Of course, you can just quickly search MCMM version 2 and you will find this document. So basically what it does is it contains this rating system where you have some certain sections, and each section will have some questions like this. So this is just a screenshot from that PDF file. So what you do is just have a look at these 30 or 20 or 30 pages book, and just answer these questions, and check if what is your score, and rate your firm in each of these sections. So the idea behind having this detailed competency maturity model is that it will help you as a CA firm to know what is your current level of maturity and what are the action points that you need to take to increase or go up to the next maturity level. And we as all we started in our practice, and whatever current state that we are in, everyone would agree that we have come a long way. So this is just one of the structured approach to reach the further next milestone. So you could just check out this. So over to you. That concludes my section. If I have any questions, I would take them.
Thank you so much, Adarsh. Definitely, there must be a lot of questions. One question on is how to segregate the folders user-wise. Means if, for example, there are 15 employees and they want to give access to only 2 or 3 employees for one particular type of folder. So, in which app or which software we can do that?
So if you are using any of these options that I have discussed, public collaboration tool as well as self-hosted collaboration tools, at both the places you get that option of providing those access. Then the team members would first log in and then be provided the access. If you are already using your server-based approach, then you will have to use a NAS based storage where you can create the users and then provide access to those users.
Oh, thank you so much. One more question is there. Can you name the ticketing system software you displayed? I think it was named there, but again, for the academic purpose, you can display.
So one of the tool that I like and love is Freshdesk, and it's an Indian tool. I have met the person who created it long back. Freshdesk is the good tool, and another one could be Zoho and HubSpot.
Thank you so much. Definitely, a lot of questions will come. We will continue the session, and after the Ankitji's session, we can again take the question answer session. Thank you so much, Adarshji. Friends, our next speaker, CA Ankit Raipuria ji. He is an All India rank holder in CA PE2 and CA final exam. Having completed his articleship from Pricewaterhouse, he served companies like Bharat Petroleum, UTV Movies, and Walt Disney. Post servicing these companies for 5 years, he started his own practice 7 years back. For the last 15 years, now he has an experience in the field of process audit, process implementation, business process assessments, ERP implementation, and business strategy implementation. Ankit is currently also the nominated member of Committee for Members in Practice of WIRC. Ankit, I welcome you and please address the gathering. Over to you, Ankit.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, great. So, the topic which I am covering is like Adarsh has already created, and Murtuza sir and Huzeifa bhai has already created a lot of stuff. So, I'm covering the topic is team management. So, like I know that once we are having clients to serve in these difficult times, there's a need how to manage team effectively, how we can get the work done from them and ensure desired results, right? So when I say team management, I can say that it's a two terms right now. It's a team plus management. If I go to the slide, I can say that it's a team plus management. So till the time you don't have team, you have nothing to manage, right? So if I can ask a question, you can answer to yourself and think, what is essential which is required? What do you think is essential which is required for a group to call as a team? So what do you think? That you may have 20 people in your organization, you may have 15 people working in your organization, you may have hundreds of people working in your organization. But what do you think? What requires them to call as a team? Honestly. So I've just, if I'm not going into the theory, I've just jotted few pointers which I feel that that's what make a good team, or that's what really makes a team. So there has to be a mutual trust and respect between the people. There has to be a communication, the prompt communication. There has to be a transparency. There has to be acknowledgement of work responsibilities. There has to be mutual support, conflict resolutions. The work allocation has to happen. Then has to be a well-structured work team metrics, and there has to be a supportive environment or supportive nature where leader helps his subordinates to grow. So this brings to me, if I look at all these factors which makes a team very effective and a good team, I think most of it boils down to trust. So if I can ask this question, that because I feel that trust is the most fundamental aspect for any human relationship. So if I'll ask, maybe again you guys can think and scale and rate yourself where you fit in. Do you really trust your teams? That's what I would just want to ask each and everyone on this webinar. Do you guys really trust your team? Do you really trust? When I say so, I can give you example. When your office staff tells you, sir, I work for 12 hours a day today, do you really think that and take it on face value? Yes, if he's saying he has worked for 12 hours, yes, he has. Because sitting in office, you can perhaps monitor that yes, that guy is working for 12 hours. But especially for work from home, when someone says, sir, I work for 12 hours a day today, do you really trust him? Or does the question come, 6 hours से क्या रहेगा? He's just bluffing. 12 hours मेरे को बोल रहा है. Maybe it is 7 hours or 8 hours job. Right? It does come. It does come. Because it comes to me also naturally at many times. Whenever I'm making my team work from home. But I feel that trust is the most important aspect to get the team work and get the team done. Because when you have trust in team, the team aligns their goals and their dreams with you, because they know that with this organization they can grow. With you, they have a future. So they'll never. So like Huzeifa sir already said that, or Adarsh already said that there is a lot of attrition which happens in CA firms. So that can be stopped when they see that, okay, I can grow with this CA, or I can grow with this firm, and I have future over here, and I can fulfill all my dreams. So that can go. So I can give one example of how teams work. Maybe you may have the best of individuals working with you, but they may not be a best team. So it's a very simple example, maybe out of the context of CA. So I think most of you must have seen movie by name of Chak De. I'm not a fan of Shah Rukh Khan, but I like that movie a lot for some reason. If you see in that movie the hockey team with Shah Rukh had, I think they have the best of individuals of all states, right? Who were playing. Everyone was best at their own level, but still the team was never winning. There was nothing with which the team was achieving per se, right? Then there was a moment when they realized that we have to stand for a team, we have to stand for each other, right? And that's where they kick in, and that is a moment. That moment happened when Shah Rukh takes them out for a lunch in McDonald's, and some boys disrespect the woman, right? And all of a sudden they come up as a team, and they show it as a team, and from there they go on to become a world champion, right? So it's a movie, but if you see, movies are, again, every time it's been said that it's a what happens in social lives or what happens in our society. Movies are the a representation of that, because I work with Disney and UTV movies. I come from movie background to some extent, so I love these kind of examples, right? So if you see what differently did Shah Rukh did, he engaged. So if I look at it, how he built the trust, and it's not only about trust between coach and team, it's about trust between team members also individually. So if someone else is not performing, someone is picking up. It's never been happening that in that whole hockey match someone is saying उसने ball pass नहीं किया इसके लिए मैंने goal नहीं किया. No, everyone is contributing, everyone is coming forward. No, I have to win, I have to make this team win, I have to cross that line, right? So what's there? So when I look at those learnings, so he started engaging with the team. Now, so I will give you now my example how I engage with my team, and especially in work from home environment where I know that there is so much team is already dealing with, and we have to also appreciate that there are a lot of works which we as a CS do is very monotonous and repetitive, like filing GST return every month is same thing, right? It's the same data. If it's a new client, perhaps for first 2-3 months it's a new learning, but then again it becomes hell lot monotonous. You keep doing same thing over and over and over again, right? So it's a boring thing. And also it depletes the team morale that what am I doing? I'm doing same thing. My life is boring, right? So for that, like I came up with that. I engage with my team every week once for 1 hour. I make sure that there is a call with all team members. Everyone is on that call. We discuss everything except work. I go into their personal life, see what they are, where they are, what they are doing, how they are keeping themselves healthy, how they are keeping themselves fit, how they are keeping themselves happy during these times, right? So this is something which I've taken and I keep doing it. So and I appreciate their efforts, right? So now I just want to see, and it is again up depend upon person to person and team to team. So you have to look at your own ways of collaborating with team and making them a good team, right? So like I am working with them in this way, you may find something better, you may find something which they love more, they may not be. So like I can give you example, people who are like, if your team members are consisting of people above 50, I think they don't love emails, they love phone calls. If you'll call them, they'll be like happy to, okay, I'll get it done, right? If your team members who are like 35 plus, in the range of 35 to 50, there are people who love phone calls, who loves mails. If you write them the mail, they are the perfect people who will revert to you on emails immediately. It's done. Like Murtuza sir was sharing in the client context also, people how you can effectively communicate. So similar comes with team also. And people who are young in the age groups, especially around your articles or your graduates or recently qualified CAs, they are more on a tech savvy guys. Perhaps they communicate immediately or strongly on via WhatsApps or Microsoft Teams or any other collaboration tool which others just share. Because for them it's far easier to communicate via that route, right? Sorry. So for them, it's far easier to communicate via that route, right? So that's how you can create a better team, but it's up to you how you communicate and how you engage your teams, right? And also when you are creating teams, are you creating sufficient backups? That is a question which you have to ask. So suppose today I have 10, I have 20 team members, and suppose I have assigned someone a responsibility of doing GSTR return for a client on monthly basis. Since like I said, it's a monotonous job, I know in 1 month out of 12 it will come that that guy or girl will default for sure, because it's so boring for them also at the end of the day. So do I have a backup? If they don't do it, someone else picks it up, or they have that much of a collaboration among themselves that it doesn't come to me and only they themselves discussed, care, I don't want to do it today, can you do it for me? So someone else picks up that responsibility and closes it, right? So that's what I want to make a point in a good team, that what makes a good team. So once you have a good team, so these are the questions which I've already written. So once you have a good team, then it comes for the managing, because without team you cannot manage a team, right? So let's look at what are the issues which we are facing in the recent scenarios. So when I look at the issues, so I won't go into all points, but I'll just broadly cover. So as a management or as a team owner or as a office owner, I've seen that you are facing the issues of management of team, data management, which Adarsh has already covered, keeping team up to date with the advancement in technology. I think that is also Adarsh has already covered. From communications with team members, so there are also tools available. The most important I feel is from our perspective, assigning and sharing responsibilities and tasks with the team. So how we assign and share the responsibilities, right? And then doing their appraisals and having control over project timelines. Perhaps these three are the most important when it comes to team, which we are facing right now as a practicing chartered accountants in this current scenario. Similarly, team is also facing few issues because of these recent scenarios. For them, it's a sudden change in working style. A lot of people are not used to work from home, honestly. For them also, it's a network and using of new software and technology which they are also not aware, and all of a sudden something has come up on their plate. There are a lot of distractions at their home also while working, like especially in a cities like Mumbai, where in a metro cities where the spaces are constrained. This becomes a major pitfall for people to work from home. Then there may be few things like power cuts at households, technical issues of portable devices, etc. Right? So these can be the issues. So I just want to highlight and take you on the mainly on the responsibility sharing and task assignment with the team and how we can do that more effectively, because I feel once that is done, all these issues can be taken care of in some or the other way. So when we say managing tasks, so when I say task, so task I can call it an engagement, it can be a job worksheet, or it can be anything you want to call it. So I can give you an example of a task. Let's say you want your team member to file GSTR 3B of XYZ Limited for May 2020. So that may constitute a task, right? So now for some people, you may now you have to again judge your staff. So some people would be very intelligent. Like if you say, like I have someone in my team, if I say that girl that, see, look, you have to do GSTR 3B of May 2002 before 5th June. I'm sure she'll do everything. She'll coordinate with the client for data. She'll verify the data. She'll get the data filled on the GST portal. She'll generate the summaries. She'll ask the client to make the payment, and she'll send the final one for me to review, and she'll file it also. So I'm aware she'll do it, right? But there may be few who are not that kind of a people, who like more structures. So there may be someone who can ask, "Acha sir, 3B karna hai, but how to do it?" So maybe you'll have to define detailed under the task, maybe detailed to-dos for them, saying, okay, so first you have to call the client, get the data from him. Once the data come, you have to prepare the working. Once you have prepared the working, you have to go on GST portal or any software which you are using and file it, right? So it depends upon team's capabilities and skills. So I can give you one more example and practical example from my life. Like we work in partnership, of course. So I'm a guy who loves very structured approach. So if I have to make some report for a client, and if it's a report which is very new, not being done ever by us, I feel I'm not very comfortable making it, because I like it to be structured. So I have to create a structure. So this is a point one, point two. These are the 10 things which report should cover. So if someone gives me that structure, I'm very comfortable doing it, and my speed increases. Whereas I have a partner named as Chirag. So for Chirag, it's very, he loves unstructured stuff. He doesn't like being structured. So he feels if something is unstructured and is given to him in piecemeals, he loves to connect the dots. He loves to connect the pieces and make something out of it. That's a love for him. Just imagine if suppose I'm working in some CA firm and my boss gives me instruction exactly opposite to Chirag, and Chirag gets instruction exactly opposite to what he loves. It will lead to a disaster, right? So that's the reason it comes, that you have to identify that what is the capability and skill of each and every employee of yours, and that is the only way to assign them the work and detail it out. So you may, for some employees, you may have to go to last level to explain these are the 20 things to be done, and for some you can just tell them broadly that this is what needs to be done, and they'll be able to do it on without asking you further questions, right? So I'll just move how you can manage tasks. So there are a few widely known tools, so which a lot of people use and you would have heard about. So Excel is one of the most common. So you can make an Excel sheet, you can write what all task needs to be done, and you can mention that who needs to do it, timelines, etc. It can be a simple spreadsheet which can be shared also, or which can be created individually for each team member. So I'm not getting into Excel much, right? Then there's few generic tools which are available in the market, like project management tools, which I can call like Trello, etc., which gives you detailed softwares or app where you can have to-dos assigned, right, for every team member, and you can monitor it. And then the third comes, which is very widely known also, are the practice management softwares. So practice management softwares are created mainly for chartered accountant firms. So there is one of these softwares which I came across was Simplify Practice. So again, there is an institute tie-up. Institute has a tie-up with it for members. So these practice management softwares I've seen, they provide you detailed listings where you can create tasks, you can maintain the timesheets, you can maintain the client billing, etc., out of these softwares. And they're so much designed considering the CA things that they give you the list of the projects which you are running, which normally a CA firm runs. So you don't need to type, you can just click from drop down and select the type of project or type of task you want to confirm, want to undertake. Like they have the complete list of all GSTR1, file GST return, file income tax audit, file income tax return. So they have the complete drop down available over there. So I've just given a next slide, I've given a comparison between these three tools. So before I go on comparison, I just want to say that source of this, there is a WICASA has come up with a recent publication on guide to working from home for every professional. So I've taken this comparison from there because it was easily available for me also. So spreadsheet doesn't allow you access management. So at the same time, I am also editing, Adarsh is also editing, Kirit is also editing, or everyone is editing. I cannot have a control. I cannot restrict. Wherever when I say project management softwares, yes, to some extent I have a control, and in practice management software also I can have access controls. Then is it designed for CA forms or practice management? So spreadsheet, definitely no. General task or project management software also definitely no. Whereas practice management softwares are completely designed for a CA firm. Spreadsheet doesn't allow a client master. So general project management software, it again depends on the tool to tool. It's not there in everyone. It may be there at some places. Practice management software, it does allow client master. Then task management, yes, I can do in spreadsheet also. I can do in project management software, everywhere I can, and in practice management software also. Can I track changes? So I have assigned some task. I want to see whether who has done the changes and what all changes has been performed. So spreadsheet gives me a feature where I can track the changes. Then in project management softwares, again, it completely depends on tool to tool, where you can monitor the changes. And practice management software, of course, you can monitor the changes, who has done changes and what kind of changes are being carried out. Then spreadsheet doesn't allow you document archival and sharing settings, whereas project management softwares and practice management softwares allow you this. You cannot create client access in spreadsheet and project management softwares, but practice management softwares, like, you can definitely create client access. You can give access to client, they can look at their data, they don't need to call you again and again. Dashboard, a spreadsheet has a limited dashboard, whereas practice management software and general project management software has a bigger dashboard, and it's a wide dashboard which shows you timesheets, which shows you knowledge sharing, which shows you list of client, which shows you tasks assigned, which shows you timesheets, which shows you billing, etc., etc. Can we do billing? Practice management software allows you billing, and they also provide you mobile app, whereas spreadsheet doesn't have these features. You have to manually do it. And in project management software, again, it depends upon the tool, right? So to move on to project management software. So I've just listed few project management softwares which is very readily available in the markets. So I've just put it as per their cost right now. So again, you can always apply your professional skepticism and you can check the demo and everything, what fits you best. You can always look at it. So Simplify Practice right now is something which is like free of cost, is available as per institute tie-up, like I already said. There's something called as Zampu, then there's CA dashboard, then there's My Task, CA Office Automation, CCHI Firm. So these so Adarsh did this research for me and he shared the prices, etc., with me for per user per year, that what's there. So these are the things which is available in the market readily. If in case you want to go and take any of the demo, you are always open. So that is the practice management solutions which are available. So again, I've taken from WIRC publication. So this is just like a lot of this is already covered. So I've just listed down a lot of stuff which is there, that what all practice management software, ticketing tools, etc., are available in the market. So moving on, I want to give some tips which I feel they are mandatory for someone to work effectively from home. So I'm ignoring few tips which Huzeifa sir has already mentioned, like dress up properly, have separate room, etc. So I'm not going there. So I've written few like manage work schedules. So it's very important. You should encourage your team to take breaks at reasonable times, like every 2 hours or every 3 hours, like they take breaks in office. You should encourage that. You should encourage them to be physically and mentally fit, like they can do some exercising, they can do some yoga, some meditation or something, right? Then you have to be responsive to team issues. So as a practicing chartered accountant, we have to be responsive. So there may be some team issue which may come up, so we have to be available for them to respond. I know we may have meetings, we may have some other calls, but they should know that okay, maybe we are busy, but we'll get back to them as soon as possible, as soon as our work is done, right? Because there can be a lot of issues, and when they know that someone is there, they're always more comfortable and their work and productivity increases. You can do team meetings like I already told, and it can be regarding work, it can be offline or anything you want. Then you should encourage them to be in touch with the colleagues, because right now it's a time where a lot of people have maybe staying alone or staying in a nuclear families. They may be getting bored, they may be getting frustrated. So you should encourage that they talk to their colleagues, make them learn new technologies and how to use them, then get them to participate in various webinars done by institutes or associations or faculties for their development. So that will add as a benefit for us also over a long term. So someone who wants to get trained further in GST, someone who's doing GST at a very raw level right now, I can push him in some institute program or some program for GST where he can upgrade, or he or she can upgrade his knowledge. So that will be added advantage to us as a firm also, and to that person also. Then we can plan some fun activities or for these guys during the maybe on Saturdays or for an hour or something, some games or some fun activity, so that it relieves their frustration and it relieves them. And then we can also when you are having them participate in webinars, etc., or you can always ask them to present what one has learned and share with the same with the team. So they can have sessions. So you can encourage your team itself that, okay, so someone is doing GST, let's say for instance, you have 5-member team, let's say for example, one is doing GST, rest four are not doing GST. You can always ask this guy to explain how GST works to these four. So it will be a knowledge upgrade for these guys also, and they'll be happy that, okay, we are learning something new, right? You have to encourage supporting behavior amongst team, that there is a support amongst each other. Then maintain a team spirit, like I always say. And then you have to perform their periodic work and team reviews, that whether how they are performing, what's going on, whether why they are not working, why they're, if they are completing timelines, you have to appreciate them. If they are not completing timelines, you have to look at why they are not completing timelines. Is it timelines being pushed are too hard, or they're actually not working, or there is some issue they are dealing with? So that is something which you will have to look at. So these are the few tips I just wanted to make. So once you apply these, so in my view, I feel, again, because that is something which I am also doing currently. So I can see that I'm able to take out the output from my team, and I'm able to generate the results out of my team. So every time I make them keep doing something or the other, I am able to generate the output for me. So finally, I'm moving to my last slide, which is the benefits of team strength in recent scenarios. So these are just, I've documented few benefits. So my work continues at reasonable pace if I have a team strength and team is working at full-fledged. It sets a working routine. Then there is an acquisition of knowledge and development of skills happen, which is there. Then existing pitfalls, if there are any, it's actually a time for us to revamp. So if there is any processes internally in the organization which you are lagging for a long time, you want to implement, or what you call plug it, or you want to see that there is some process which is not working properly, you want to bring it. Like one example can be, let's say you are not making engagement letters for all the clients you're serving. I'm just giving you an example. So you can generate a reduce it, you can create a process, you can have some standard templates for engagement letters or something like this. So this is the time you can do this, because right now the team may not have that kind of a work, or may have, but it's a time for to do that. You can always evaluate work proficiency. Communications are effective. That's the team's strength, of course. Then leadership and control over the projects, because once you start trusting your team, once you start giving them the leadership, people start taking on leadership, and they'll take the control over the projects. And that's what, as a practicing CA, I would love to see, that my team doing things more than me. I'm just reviewing it at the final stage. And finally, you enjoy the team spirit. So that's it. That's all I have. So if you have any question, you can always ask.
Thank you so much, Ankit ji.
Thank you, Akshay.
There are a lot of questions available. I could not complete the question. It is only mentioning common goals and objectives. Maybe they want to ask how to achieve the common goals and objective of a team by sitting differently.
Perfect. So, sir, I'll answer that. So, sir, common goals and objective, when I say how to achieve. So, for that, like I said, you have to get into the life of your team member. You have to see what they love to do, right? Like I have few staff in my team who I knew when they joined me. So there was a girl who wanted to make sure that her parents retire when she started working with me. So I make her give the timeline why when she'll do it and what kind of a salary range will make her do this. So she defined that. So I say, you're getting this today. If you want to get this kind of a salary, what level you think firm should grow, and what level do you think you should manage the client? And she herself designed everything for me. And when I grew, I was happy to shell out that kind of a money, or rather more than what she wanted to her. And she was able to fulfill this dream of her. She was able to retire her parents, right? So that's where I feel that you have to get into the life of every individual who is working with you and see what matters to them. And when you get there, perhaps you'll be able to align their goals and objective to yours. That's the only way as for me.
One more question is there. Maybe Ankit ji and Adarsh ji and even Huzeifa ji can add to that. Is there any document related to office management which we should, as a proper practice, should keep?
So can you come back on question, Akshay ji?
Yeah, I will repeat the question. Is there any document related to office management
Okay.
Maybe we can take this question as whether a documentation is required for maintaining the
So
office.
I think, so Akshay, let me try to take a shot at this. So I'm saying,
Yes.
like maybe the participant is trying to find out, okay, like for a CA office, do you have a office management guidelines or a document as such? Not that I know of immediately, which comes to my mind, but so many things were covered today. So one is a CA office definitely needs something called as a sales management tool. Okay, where you scan and put your card, where you send the greetings, when you send the technical white papers, and then whenever you get proposal, you start putting it inside and tracking the proposals, at what stage you are. Once the proposal is won, then you want to get into an epico type of a thing where you like do the timesheet marking. You create the project, you know what, how many hours are charged, you want to look at your billing, and then you go to the like billing collection. But then other than these tools, there is something which is separate, which is the engagement letter, the representation letter, the NDA, the SLA. So everything put together, all of these which is required for a CA office, is there everything available in one document or a guide, and like where like reference material is given or formats are given? I have not seen one, but maybe we can work on something as WIRC. A good suggestion maybe. And inputs from other three also is welcome. All three experts can add to it if I have taken
So
the
just to add up on Murtuza sir, I think like in my presentation I've given, so there is one guide from WIRC which even Adarsh has contributed as a writer over there. So work from home guide from where
that
I've
is
taken a
work from
screenshot. It's a very beautifully written document by WIRC. So I feel that whenever someone is looking at work from home, it can always be referred.
right.
The member has added to that question. They mean to say the office manual. Do we need to maintain an office manual for office management development?
I can take that question.
Sure.
So wherever you use any software or even the Excel file, there has to be a proper documentation as to what information has to be filled in particular table or those. Say for example, if you create a Excel sheet to track 80 GST return that you do it on a monthly basis, there has to be a document which says that which team member will be updating this, which team member has the responsibility of ensuring all these things are done. So a policy document is required irrespective of what steps or softwares you are using.
Yes, Huzaifa bhai.
Uh, the similar line of question to Murtuza sir as well. Will there be any methodology or manual for staff at home working at home, like dress code and office infrastructure they need to maintain as far as ICAI is concerned?
I will answer that question, but I think Huzaifa bhai is unmuted. He wanted to say something. Yeah, okay, fine.
Can I just contribute to the first question? See, chartered accountants work in a legal framework and environment in India, and all the laws demand and require that chartered accountants maintain records in a proper way. Like say the Companies Act, 8 years, Income Tax Act, PMLA, a minimum of 10 years, and then you have a litigation history of so many clients. So the recommended period of retaining documents is 15 years nowadays for large corporates. So given the legal environment in which we work, it becomes imperative for chartered accountants to have a documentation policy in line with the auditing standards as well as office procedures. Not only retaining them, archiving them, and also keeping them fit for purpose is very important. And there are something which is known as a callback review of the audit documents, which clients also do as far as chartered accountants and attorneys are concerned. So I think our practicing chartered accountants should be cognizant of the legal environment. We should have a documentation, creation, generation, archival, backup policy in place. That is very important.
So Akshay, coming to your next question, actually, I think Huzaifa bhai today covered in his presentation a few aspects of when you work from home, what you should take care of, and the WRC came up with this work from home guide, in which also you covered few aspects of it. But to answer the participants' question here and to reiterate, See, one is normally I used to leave my house at 9 and come back at maybe 8 in the evening, and my office time is 10 to 6. So at least when I'm working from home, if I'm saying 10 to 6 or 9:30 to 6:30, at least I should communicate and educate my family member that now this is my office time. I'll be working from home. Of course, I'll take lunch break between this to this. Now there could be small houses, but in my house, like the internet works well in the hall only. So when I'm sitting in the hall, people will come behind me, go back. So while I'm discussing, it becomes difficult. So I sit on the sofa in one corner with my back to the wall. Okay. So you need to first identify that spot in your house where you get the phone network and the internet network. Then that becomes your office place. And your members, the family members should understand that ये आपका cubicle है और ये आपका office time है. And while, like say now I'm talking, if someone starts shouting in my house, then like that noise will be heard. So I'm saying like that, those type of things also we need to educate them. Now all of a sudden any call can come. Now will I have enough time to go and change my shirt, like from t-shirt to shirt? The answer is no. So possibly then I'll have to wear a white or a blue shirt and be ready, so that whenever I want to get on a video call, I can get on a call. So that way, so these are certain softer issues. So like maybe from computer, network, phone angle, plus maintaining the timing, maintaining the like dress code, and see, like when my principal or my organization tells me that I am paying you money while you are at home, then I have to be available on phone. We find employees who don't pick up phone only, and then after 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, he will call back and then he will say, sorry sir, मेरा silent पे था. What do you mean silent पे था यार? Office में होता तो तेरे को हम लोग टेबल पे आके बोलता था. So how can you do that? You have to ensure that you are available on phone. You are actually working from home and the employer is paying you. So I'm saying this thing, the softer aspects of it, as WRC or ICAI, we have not listed anywhere. I can be corrected. The others may help me. But I actually had drafted a few things. That document has remained incomplete, but we should work on, because as we go ahead and maybe this next 12-15 months, if this continues, then I think this could be a small helpful 2 or 3 pages we can put across. Yeah, thank you. Then any inputs from anyone else? Let us add that.
Any input on the same?
Yes,
I
Kirit bhai.
wish to, yes. Murtuza sir, right from the inception, I am listening to you, where we should keep our business cards, where we should keep business cards received from our clients. तो ये मैं सही बोलूँ तो कुछ समय से मैं सोच रहा था कि जैसे मेंबर्स जिनका 10-12 साल हो गया प्रैक्टिस में एटलीस्ट, जिस समय पे GMCS कोर्सेज नहीं होते थे, तो मैं सोच रहा था कि GMCS सॉर्ट ऑफ कोर्सेज या वेबिनार सॉर्ट ऑफ या VCM सॉर्ट ऑफ एक मैं इवेंट प्लान करूं, तो मैं जरूर कह सकता हूं कि ये प्रोग्राम के द्वारा वो भी काफी सारी चीजें कवर होगी. लेकिन आई मस्ट से द वे यू डेलिब्रेटेड, और आपने जो चीजों को आज छुआ है, आई मस्ट से ऑल आर गोइंग टू गिव वेरी गुड वैल्यू एडिशन टू द मेंबर्स. इवन मैंने तो नोट डाउन कर लिया कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली वी एज प्रोफेशनल्स आर सपोज्ड, और काफी वैल्यूएबल चीजें हैं. एक चीज मैं एक क्वेश्चन जैसे मैं पूछना चाहूंगा मुर्तुजा सर या इवन आदर्श जी से मेरा डिस्कशन 2 दिन पहले हुआ था कि जनरली हमने डाटा सिक्योरिटी के बारे में बात कर लिया, क्लाउड जो है और ओन क्लाउड या फ्री क्लाउड सर्विसेज जो उसकी बात कर ली है. जैसे मैं एज अ प्रैक्टिशनर कुछ समय से सोच रहा था कि जो मेरे क्लाइंट्स हैं उनके मैं रिस्पेक्टिव फोल्डर्स बना के विदाउट एनी मैनुअल इंटरवेंशन अगर मैं उनका डाटा उनसे शेयर कर लूँ, जैसे उनके मेरे रिटर्न्स फाइल्ड है, acknowledgements they can get from my server without any manual intervention. चाहे मेरे को पूछे चाहे स्टाफ को ना भी पूछे, तो they can access from their respective offices or homes and they can get their acknowledgements, या उनको कोई computation चाहिए, balance sheet चाहिए, audit reports चाहिए. So whether such softwares are there that can help us, that can help professionals to organize such sort of things, and हम client के हिसाब से उनको हम उनके एक्सेस और उसके पासवर्ड्स वी कैन शेयर एंड दे कैन गेट देयर डाटा विदाउट इवन कॉलिंग टू अस. तो इसमें काफी हद तक के हमारा समय जो है टीम का इस समय जाता है वो बचेगा. और इतना जरूर है कि उसमें अगर वी नीड टू पुट अ चेक कि यस फीस इज नॉट रिसीव्ड, तो वेदर वी कैन पुट अ टेम्पररी बार कि यस आफ्टर द फीस इज रिसीव्ड और वंस वी अपडेट दे कैन हैव द एक्सेस. तो ये थोड़ा सा मेरे को गाइडेंस चाहिए था. यस मुर्तुजा सर और आदर्श जी जैसा भी आप बोले.
So I would request Adarsh to go first, and then Huzeifa bhai will add, and if there is something, then I'll also add. Adarsh,
Perfect.
over to you.
Yes, Adarsh, please.
Sure. So one way currently we are, I assume that many of us will be sharing larger files would be. So say suppose I want to get a big data from the client, which is not possible through email, then we definitely use Google Drive, OneDrive, or any of these cloud storage, right? And this is a folder where the client will go on uploading those larger tally backups, and then we download and use it, right? So similar approach can be used for the file collaboration as well. But the issue is ease of use as well as organizing it. The client would like to download the challans of say income tax paid or advance tax paid 3 years back, and having a haphazard folder structure would not help the clients to download. What we want to bring in is that clients can just log in into a portal and then by himself download those files. So in that case, having a common folder like OneDrive, Google Drive, or these box, Dropbox doesn't help that much. There, the practice management solution has a client portal where you can upload the documents and then you can provide the access to the clients. There, I guess your recommended feature is that there is still an option to the office whether they want to allow the client to download those files based on some conditions. I would not like to mention that condition again, but yeah, so based on that condition, you could allow those downloads to the documents, and then the client get a beautiful interface. They can search which year assessment year they want to download and download those systematically. So the idea that I want to put is systematic um, file access.
Huzaifa bhai, any inputs from your side?
No, I think Adarsh has covered it very well. There are three options, as he said, just to summarize. First is to do a portal with the client where let the client invest the money, not the chartered accountant, because this is in the interest of the client. We should develop a portal where the chartered accountant can transfer the files and save the file on the server of the client, whether it is on cloud or whether it is on premise of the client. So that is one best option. Second option, as Adarsh has nicely explained to us, is of file transfer by using Google Drive, OneDrive. So any platforms that we use, whether Microsoft, Google, etc., they have got additions for file transfer in the form of sharing the drive through a link option. So that can be used and that can be done. And the third option is to actually educate the client to have a direct access to a file transfer protocol where you are saving the work on the client server only itself. So you're getting rid of the data in your system and you're putting it with the client and working out of their systems. So I think Adarsh has covered all these three very well. So these are primarily the three options that we have.
So
So
maybe
small.
I, okay, yes, Adarsh.
So small addition, I was mentioning practice management solution as a client portal. So many of these client portals, client practice management solution with Ankit ji had already shared on the presentation, have a client portal where you can just provide access to the clients to these portals, create a user ID password, and then
Yeah,
clients can download it using these practice management solution.
So I will add only Kirit by couple of things to this. So like
So
see, most of our clients, when we are in practice, most of the clients are doing accounting in Tally. Or when we do accounting for our clients also, we are doing in Tally. Now, like say if a client is of reasonable size, and if the client is ready to move to a little, maybe a little more feature wala software, and I'm just taking name Zoho, assuming. So in Zoho, what happens is for a particular number of invoices or volume and for a particular target of revenue, the fees is only 2,500 per year. Then it is like 10,000 and then it is like 18,000. But in that, like all your sale bills, purchase bills, all your accounting is done on the Zoho cloud. So like normal office mein, when they forget to take backup, sometimes the data is lost. Then they need to do re-entry. CA ऑफिस में काफी बार होता है कि यार डेटा लॉस हो गया तो वापस पूरा 6 महीने का एंट्री बैठ के अकाउंटेंट लोग अपना आर्टिकल लोग कर रहे हैं. So if your client is already, like say, assuming if they agree to take the Zoho and pay the fees, and then the client will also have access to create the sale bill, etc. And your guys can do the accounting of sale, purchase, bank, whatever it is. And like you can even have an auditor access if you're not an accountant. And the data keeps on getting on the cloud, and it is always available from Zoho whenever they want. So there is no backup, there is no loss of data, etc., etc., which can all be saved. Similarly, they provide a lot of other features also. The data gets uploaded into a GSTN form directly, so return filing becomes easy. So I'm saying there are so many solutions. Now this is only Zoho book which I'm talking about. But when you look at Zoho, they've got about some 70 or 80 different applications. So like the client may choose whatever they want. The client wants to send an automatic reminder to their customer for the outstanding. If outstanding is more than 30 days, more than 60 days, that can also go through a messaging thing which Zoho has. I'm saying there are a lot of solutions which are available. We'll have to pick up one. The second thing is like the other speakers touched upon, okay, like on my server or on my cloud, if I am a CFM and I take up space in the cloud, I can have folder where there is a permanent file, there is a draft file, there is a final file for each client and for particular year. And then I can give access, limited access to that folder to the client so that he can download his final computation, balance sheet, profit and loss, and keep it with himself. And at the every year, I take a confirmation from him that I have given him the record document, so that even if I lose, then at least he cannot come and say, "Arey, mere paas to hai nahi, tumne diya hi nahi karke," that types. So we can work upon various solutions, but easy and cheaper, not very costly, but we need to apply our mind and we can work on.
So continuing to Murtuza sir's answer now, next question is for Adarsh ji. How secure is self-hosted storage method? As you mentioned in your profile, in your presentation.
So self-hosted options are installed on your server, and those are pretty much open source. So two of them are open source tools that I mentioned. The code is vetted by the security professionals, and you can consider them to be at par with the other hosted solutions like OneDrive or Google Drive.
Okay. We will go with the last question. Maybe our secretary WIRC is the right person to answer on this. We consider as a CA articles as our team member. So most of the articles are of the opinion that ICAI has issued notification where leaves shall not be counted if they don't work. So what is your opinion regarding this?
See, as I have read, and I can be like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the directive very clearly says that if the person was in office when the lockdown happened, so like if the article was working with you and the lockdown happened and like everyone else is at home, the article is also at home, then it will be considered as work from home and it will not be counted as leave. It will not be counted as leave. It will be counted as a period where they have served articleship. So there is no problem to the article clerk at all. Now, number two, if the article clerk was on leave already and he took the leave from 1st February till 10th of May, and all of a sudden the exam got postponed. So the article says now I'll come on 15th of June. So that means he's extending his leave. So that period will be counted as leave. That period will be counted as leave. And then the normal formula applies. So like say, if a article joined me on 1st January 2019 and he is going to come back after leave on 15 June, then I count like for 2019 365 days, January 31, etc., etc., total number of days, and again the total number of days, how many days is eligible, 1/6, how many days he is taken leave minus Saturday, Sunday. So this is a leave eligibility, this is a leave taken, whether there is an excess leave or whether there is a leave available. That calculation will happen normally. The guidelines also goes on to say, although the question is not asked, the guidelines goes on to say that if the principal has got cash flow problem, then the principal can communicate to the article clerk and agree that when the stipend will be paid. तो लाइक अगर अभी समझो मार्च का दे दिया, अप्रैल का दे दिया, मई में पैसा नहीं है और बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स है, तो मई और जून या जुलाई का stipend can even be like you can communicate to them that I'll pay it only in October, November when the office starts and when the cash flow starts coming in. Now I am touching one